We're here back on the Super Inspection Pros Have a Sip podcast. Our guest today is a realtor, Nick Swinehart. He works with first-time home buyers a lot. So if you're a home buyer in the area, you're thinking about getting in, Nick's probably the realtor for you. You need to give him a call, give him a shot. He works a lot with young families. He has a young family himself. And most of the time that we're doing inspections together, it seems like they are first-time home buyers.
All the time.
Yeah, so
all the time.
That's your bread and butter.
It is, and it's not by choice though. It just seems to happen that way. But
it's probably your life cycle too. Having a young family,
it is.
And the people that you're interacting with, they're probably in the same boat as you. So anytime you work with people, it's easy when you work with someone who's in the same situation as you.
100%. Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why I even did this was when I bought my house and I had troubles with it. I fired my first realtor, but I picked up a fantastic one afterwards. And then the ability to go through closing and buying my own first house. When I became a realtor, that was just, it was easier to have that conversation and segue into that with people with like-minded situations.
Yeah.
Okay, up and coming, wanted to buy the first house, but have no idea where to start. Yeah. And it just seems to flow naturally for me.
How long have you been a realtor now?
Dude, I just hit 4 years.
Yeah, so 4 years. That's good.
4 years.
You probably beat the average mark.
There was quite a few things that I beat the average mark on. Yeah. The first thing was first closing. I didn't know this going into the business that it, on average, takes 6 to 9 months to get your first closing as a realtor after becoming licensed. Luckily, somehow, by God, I got mine in 2 months. I still think that was a fluke and it was luck, but I'll take it any way I can get that. But after that, it was 4 years is a long time and definitely has crushed what other expectations people have of me. Yeah. And I don't know. It
could be a short-lived industry. People get in, people get out. They either do well or they don't. You know? And, and it's you make it past a certain mark, probably, I don't know, 3 years. I don't know. There's probably data on this, then you've kind of hit over that hump where it's working for you. Mm-hmm. So what do you love most about working with first-time home buyers?
Ooh, what do I love most about working with first-time home buyers? First-time home buyers, it's crushing the myths is probably one of my favorite things to do. They come to me with no knowledge other than what's been fed to them through social media, right? They need to have XYZ. They need to have 20% down. They need to have, a perfect credit score. And it's like, that's not realistic nowadays. It's just not the situation that they've grown up in and that they've been raised through, especially our financial situations throughout the whole country. People my age are struggling to get any kind of footing. But when I just have a 5-minute conversation with them, whether it's at a birthday party or at the park, and I'm crushing myths left and right, like, oh, how much do you think you need to buy a house? Like, well, I need 20% down. Well, that's not true, right? You may have heard that somewhere. If you want an investment property, sure. If you don't want to pay PMI, sure. But I'm like, I have buyers right now that I'm under contract with. They're veterans, so they have access to a 0% down loan, but USDA loans still do the same thing. You don't need to be a veteran for that. They're getting into these houses with maybe $100 out of pocket, aside from their inspection costs. The sellers are paying their closing costs. Yeah. So I'm crushing myths left and right, and it's that satisfaction of being able to educate somebody when they had no knowledge beforehand, and it just gathers trust and rapport that way. And it's very rewarding at the end of the day when they can go, wow, you're telling me I actually can buy a house that's not just some pipe American dream. It's actually achievable. I'm like, absolutely. And it's a lot closer than you think it is, too.
Do you find yourself researching like a lot of these programs? Because there's countless like loan programs and strategy type stuff. I mean, you got to be up on some of that stuff to know which lane to put them in.
Right. So that comes with the lender network. And that's not an easy thing to build because they seem to come and go just as much as realtors do. Yeah. I mean, when I first started in the business, my preferred lender was the one who did my loan on my house because I really liked the way that she communicated, would handle questions. And she said she was in the business for 10, 15 years. And I was presenting questions as a buyer that she's never been asked before. And I'm like, have you never been asked that before? But I'm like, I'm glad you have the knowledge. So when I became a realtor, I said, you're my go-to because I know you have the ability to find the answer if you don't already have it, or at least point me in the right direction to take me to where I need to go to get it. Mm-hmm. So the right lender can work on different things, whether it's veterans, if it's rural properties, if it's investment properties, if they need non-qualifying mortgages, whatever the case may be, I have the right lenders that can put those buyers onto the right path, as well as giving me the updated information. I just had a lender call me the other day saying, hey, Hometown Heroes, I didn't know if you knew this, and gave me the new updated rundown, giving me some promotional and marketing material to share out there because it's an important change. And he's like, I'm calling all the realtors I work with to update everybody on those changes. Because
Yeah, you would know.
I'm not a mortgage lender. I mean, I'll know what I know, and I probably know more than I should, and I can get in trouble for it. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to point people in the right direction. So if I know, okay, I know that, but I probably shouldn't give you the answer, but I know the person who gave me that answer and the information, so I'm going to send you to them.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's easy flowing conversation, and it works out.
What's the biggest challenge that first-time home buyers face in this market?
It's not what everybody seems to think. It's not multiple offer competition. It's not even interest rates. What's killing everybody is their own personal finances. And I'd say the number one crusher, as a silent killer too, is car loans. Getting a car loan, they don't realize how much that's actually hurting them. First, it's a depreciating asset. It does not make you money in any capacity. Yeah, it gets you from point A to point B, but so does a bicycle. But honestly, what are you going to do? I get you on a ride in luxury, but you're going to have to pick car or house. And that's the situation I'm dealing with right now, and some situations with buyers. It's car, house. And then it's even tougher of a conversation when that car is the house because it's an RV. Like, now how you want to give that up, right? It's You want the house, but the RV payment is killing you. I mean, it's setting your DTI way too high. I'm getting a call from a lender like, if they would get rid of it, man, they could have a really nice house. But I'm like, where are they going to live?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? So it's a very fine line. If they spent some time educating themselves on financial resources and creating a plan, and honestly, with AI nowadays, it's not hard to have a personal financial, almost like a advisor in a way in your back pocket to give you ideas and things to actually put into fruition. You can do that now. And if they did that within 6 months to a year, credit can be cleaned up, debt can be cleaned up, you can consolidate debt. There's so many like bits of information that's out there that people don't know about that you can at least start exploring those opportunities. Get in touch with a personal, real financial advisor, make those moves, and before you know it, your credit's rebuilt. You have extra money you're setting aside for rainy day funds or for a down payment on a house.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you're buying a house.
Yeah.
It's your own challenges it's your own personal overcome. You gotta do what you gotta do.
It's tough to overcome $1,000 truck payments. I
You know,
don't care what your income is, really. I mean, that's a big chunk of your debt to income ratio, which is what the mortgage looks at, and see if you can qualify. And if you've got one or two of those, man, that's hard.
Oh yeah, I think it was about 2 years ago. I had a buyer who was looking, and their pre-approval came back at like 280, which is great for the market at the time. It's great for a first house. It's doable.
Right.
But then when we looked at their fancy new cars that they're driving and realized that both payments combined was about $2,600 a month, you take those out of the equation, they could qualify for about a $500,000 house.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, we can't get rid of the cars. I'm like, you can't just sell it, buy a beater and just drive it for a little bit, just a little bit. Just get the house. See, like you can get the house you really want. You can do that, and then live within your means.
Yeah.
They're starting out so high, and it's cars. Cars are just the big killer.
I agree. I was hell bent on having a paid off car, and I did for the longest time, probably till I opened my business, and it made a big difference in my trajectory, especially with house buying. Because I could buy more house. It wasn't hurting me.
Right.
What's the most common misconception first-time home buyers have when they're going through the house buying process?
Or the number one biggest misconception, it's got to be the down payments.
Yeah.
That's the number one conversation I have the most with people who know a little bit, but not enough. If they did just a little bit of research, they would see that FHA down payments can go as little as 3.5%. Conventional could be 3%, 5%. Sometimes any varying means between the two or even higher, just depends on your financial situation. USDA can go as low as 0%. And VA loans are bread and butter. I've done the most of my closings have been through VA loans. Veteran friends starting out their families, they want their first house. They're using that VA loan. 0% down with no PMI. Any veteran should be
Yeah, that's some
jumping
sweet
on
action.
top of that. There's no reason not to.
0 PMI. I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's good.
No PMI.
Yeah, that's impressive. And I didn't know about the VA thing. So I learned something today. Thank you.
No, man, there's a lot that I could give out on VA loans, and I shouldn't because I'm not a lender. But
Yeah.
from the buying perspective, like sellers seem to have a misconception with VA loans that they don't,
Yeah.
that they're more trouble. The appraisal is more trouble. And it's like, it's the best backed loan, and sometimes has the fastest underwriting if you pick a good lender.
Mm-hmm.
And sellers, I guess, don't know about it.
Yeah.
They just
Well,
misconceptions.
Only time I would caution people with VA loan, this is on the inspection side that I deal with, is a 1976 wood frame home with all T111 siding, which is wood, and it's not been pressure washed in years. It's going to be difficult, is what I would say. Doesn't mean it can't happen. You're just kind of setting yourself up for trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So if I get a VA buyer and it's a nice block home, semi-modern, whatever, you're gonna have a little wood decay in the door jambs or normal areas. That's easy fixing, easy hurdle. It's just the ones that are in the older neighborhoods that are all wood frame that I'm like, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Gonna be tough.
Oh yeah. Or have like a stair set to get to the front door, and then there's no hand railings there, and you're like, oh, geez, here we go.
Yeah, there's a couple strikes right off the bat.
Anything safety related. That's what I tell people. Is anything safety related. No chipping paint. Yeah. And just safety related.
Well, I would say, and it's a hurdle, but that's why you want to work with people that know what they're doing, because it can be difficult, but they keep their cool and they move towards the goal line.
Yep.
Whatever. If it delays 1 or 2 weeks, it's not the end of the world.
Right. At least you got it fixed, you got it repaired.
Part of the process.
You're good.
And you move forward.
That's it.
You got to keep your cool in this business.
Oh, you have to.
Yep.
Like the ant discovery today. I got to keep my cool.
Yeah. You gotta stay cool. Things happen all the time.
They do.
Tell us a story about a first-time home buyer that you were working with that almost gave up in the transaction. You got him over the hurdle.
This is my favorite closing story. Second closing story aside. I'll share that later. This is he's a friend of mine who just 3 years ago was living a completely different life situation. I mean, familial situation, financial situation, just life in general was not in a good spot. And he met the right person that helped him climb out of the hole, started rebuilding his life. And then about a year ago, his brother gave me a call, said, you need to get in contact with him because he's making moves. And I'm like, dude, I haven't heard from him at all. Mm. He said, that's because he's keeping his head down, doing the work. I said, all right, I'll give him a call. I call him, he picked up right away. He's out there, he's at work, but he answered my phone call and he's like, hey, I got like 5 minutes, what's up? And I said, dude, your brother told me to give you a call because now's the time. And he's like, there's no way. And I'm like, you know why I'm calling you. It's time to start. He's like, I can't do that. And I'm like, yes, you can. You absolutely have the ability to buy a house. I'm like, you've been crunching, you've been working hard, you're slaving for it. And I said, what's the end goal here? He said, well, I want to own my own house. I'm like, I know, that's what you told me 3 years ago. And here we are. It's time. He said, okay. So I got him in touch with a lender and we started working on that process. He ended up getting pre-approved. It was about, I want to say like 280, 270 in that mark, first time home buyer mark. And we're doing showings, we're doing tours left and right for weeks. And one of our last tours, he looked at me, we were like 8:30 at night. This was a house in DeBerry. We're just getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, how it typically goes here in Florida. And he's telling me, he's like, this is not going to happen. I'm not approved for enough. We're getting beat out because at the time the market was a little bit hotter. So we're getting beat out left and right. He goes, I just want to call it quits. And I'm like, don't you dare. Don't you dare call it quits. I said, do you trust me? He said, I do. And I said, then I'm going to find you the right place. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and it'll happen. I said, if we feel like we're forcing it because we're meeting too much resistance or too many hurdles, it's not going to work, right? Put some trust. It's going to work out, right? He said, all right, I'll give it one more shot. So we went on a tour 3 days later. First house. He walked in there and just, he's like a kid in a candy store. He's looking around. He's, there's no way. And I'm like, there's no way what? He said, there's no way that this house is Like, I can have this? I said, oh, yes, you can. He's like, where was this? I'm like, it just hit the market. Just for you. I said, it's funny how that works that way, right? And we closed within 25 days. His offer was accepted the day after. We put an offer in that evening, accepted the next day, closed in 25 days. And it was right before Christmas. He got to have his kids with him in that house and spent with his family Christmas morning. It's absolutely amazing what can be accomplished. Just got to put some trust in me. And when things work out, they will.
Yeah.
If it's not meant to be, then it's not meant to be. Maybe not right now, maybe in the future. But just have a little bit of faith and some trust in this business. And I've seen it work out every single time.
Yeah, it's the power of persistence. Not only him getting it back together, getting him in a spot, but also you.
Yeah.
You followed up.
I had to, man.
Which is that's a big key in this business.
Oh yeah,
Follow up,
follow
in
up.
front, and when those opportunities come up, if you're a younger realtor, you're working with these type of folks, it's going to be there. You got to plant the seed, and then help them through.
That's
and
right.
Boom, they got it. So it worked out great. That's a good story. What do first-time home buyers often overlook when they're budgeting for a home?
Closing costs and out-of-pocket expenses. When they don't realize that they're budgeting for a house, they think it's just a down payment. But they don't realize that closing costs can sneak up on them really fast. When I give them information on how to budget for a house, I say you want to have anywhere from 6 to 9% in cash ready to go. Because if you got a 3.5% down payment on an FHA, you're still going to have closing costs. That can amount to anywhere from 3 to 5% of the purchase price. It just totally depends on the house. What they get blindsided with is taxes a lot of the times, and homeowners insurance. They don't realize that at closing, you have to pay your whole premium, your year's worth of premium, upfront at closing for your house. Same goes for taxes. You have to prorate those. But if you buy in the beginning of the year, you're going to foot the whole year's bill. If you close at the end of the year, you don't have much to pay, but you're going to have a tax bill coming up real quick. In addition to fees from title, fees from lender, there's discount points you got to pay. Those closing costs, they can rack up pretty darn quickly. And they don't budget for that. It's the same with inspection costs. A lot of people don't know that that's out of pocket. And that's not even part of your closing costs. That's upfront during the transaction process. But I tell them, look, you could spend $500 to $1,000 now and know you're about to buy something that you probably shouldn't buy. Or would you like to just buy it, save that $500 to $1,000 and roll the dice so when you close afterwards and you find out there's a big issue that costs you $2,000, you could have saved yourself some money.
Yeah.
So that's just what they overlook when it comes to budgeting is how much out of pocket they really need. And a lot of that cost can be paid by sellers, especially in this market. I'm seeing it almost every deal is some form of seller concession being paid to buyers because they know that's the number one hurdle for buyers getting into the market is out of pocket expense.
Another way to sell the inspection cost is, it's an immediate return on your investment almost. I tell people if they're going to spend $500 with me, I'm probably going to save them 5 to 10x, either off the price of the house or in repairs.
That's true.
Especially in a house at that market, there's going to be things, there always is. You're going to get that savings. It might be indirect in that they were fixing things that needed to be fixed, but now you don't have the burden of that.
Right.
Or sometimes it's just straight money off the price. Hey, we want this, but we're willing to fix it, but we want X. So it's the only immediate return that's like
That's a
that.
good point.
So,
that's a good point. I never thought of it that way.
Think of it, when you're talking to someone, hey man, it's an investment and it usually pays off 5 to 10x
Right
pretty
away.
immediately.
Yeah.
Or you dodge a bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
That's a
good
good
too.
point.
So that's how I sell it. I would say one of the things that people don't estimate when they're buying a home, first-time home buyer, it could be a 7-time home buyer. They probably got more of an idea, but the upkeep of a house.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah,
That is a big
you can't
one.
just buy the house, move in, and think I don't have to do anything anymore.
Yep.
It's maintaining that home.
That's a big one.
And that's something that sneaks up on a lot of people because how much is your monthly deal? Oh, we got the yard, we got to pressure wash it once a year. I got to fix this, I got to fix that. And the house never stops.
That's right.
Do you ever see first-time home buyers making their decision based on emotion instead of a logical reason? And then how do you help guide them through that?
Oh, 100%. Buyers nowadays definitely buy with emotion and they buy off a feeling. So like when they walk into something, they walk into a house, there's an instant reaction. A logical person would say, oh, this is worth the value, with no emotion on their face. But that's not how everybody walks in a house. They start nitpicking the colors, the layout, the furniture, if there's any, appliances, how does the kitchen look? They're going off of emotions, and they want to know how this house makes them feel. And it's very misguided that way, because you see things on Pinterest, you see things on TikTok of this is how a house should look, or even AI doing generations for how houses could look. So it's definitely over emotion. And it's my job to bring the logic to the table. You know, they're doing a very major life event here, buying their first house. I mean, if you ever play the board game of life, what's the first thing you end up doing after getting married? Buying a house. It's supposed to go marriage, house, kids. Right now, most people are doing house first, which is perfectly fine, but they're doing it with emotion, and I have to bring logic. So I'll ask them, when they're nitpicking a house, they're looking at pros and cons, one question I always present to them is, based on what you've seen on this house, what are things that you cannot change about the house? I want to present that question. Like, you can't change the lot. You can't pick up and move the house 3 feet to the left because you don't like how the side yard is too narrow. These are things you can't change. The color of the house. You can possibly knock down a wall. You can even upgrade the bathrooms. Sometimes you can build an extra garage, or you can add a pergola and change the entire backyard. You can change the driveway from concrete to a paver. Those are all things that can be changed. I said, if you're only looking at things that can be changed, that's based on feeling. You just don't like the way it looks. You don't like the way it feels. I want you to think about the logical stuff. Can you change this? Can you change that? If you can't, this isn't the house for you. If you have a strong feeling towards, I don't like the size of the kitchen, but it's not really reasonable to change the layout or the size of the kitchen, probably not the house for you. You're going to have resentment as you're living through that house for the next couple of years. What if you keep it for 30 years? You want to keep that kitchen the same way? Well, one day you're going to wake up and be like, I hate this kitchen. And you want to spend 30, 40 grand to alter your floor plan, change the engineering of the house just to add 5 feet to the kitchen? You could have just not bought the house. So I present that logic when they're feeling emotional about their purchase. And it's a big deal. So I don't expect them to think logically. That's my job.
Yep, and home buying, it's a highly emotional state. There's a lot of time, pressure, getting through the transactions, an emotional deal.
Dude, even family members on the back end.
Yeah.
You know, Uncle Bob, you shouldn't buy that. It's not worth that. My parents, I bought a house $50,000 back in 1961.
Yeah.
Well, that's not today. So there's no, get out of here with that.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
Everyone's got to stay cool in a real estate transaction.
Absolutely.
You know, keep your emotions in check. I know it's easy to get out of control, and it's just a high pressure situation. I deal with it too on the inspection, especially the day after they get the report. And you know, it's all fixable, and if you want it, it's great. But if you don't, move on. That's why you do this process. You know, so that's good. So that's been our episode on Have a Sip podcast. We've been sitting here with realtor Nick Swinehart, who deals a lot with first-time home buyers. If you're in the market and you're a first-time home buyer, certainly give Nick a shout. How can they get in touch with you, Nick?
They can get in touch with me primarily through social media. You can just search my name, Nicholas Swinehart, or Nick Swinehart, either or. Just search me on Google, Facebook, TikTok even. I'm everywhere that I need to be.
Yeah, you do a lot in social media.
That is primarily how I reach my sphere. That's how I leave the crumbs of information to get people thinking about, you can do it. And I give a lot of guides, a lot of resources. I even just recently started building personal dashboards for every one of my clients so they have a place to go to for everything transaction related, and even after closing, links to, if they want their homestead exemption, links to the inspection report. Mine's stuck in a file cabinet at my house. I would like to be able to just click on a link and pull it up and be like, oh man, it's been 5 years and I still haven't touched that. Oh man, I need to go back and do that stuff. So I started giving that to buyers as a way to that's where they can go for everything they need. It's all there, all bits of information.
Yeah, that's good info. And give Nick a try. Follow him on his social medias, and he'll help you achieve your dream of home ownership.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having me.